Good evening and welcome to In Conversation. I'm Art Levine, Professor of Ethics and Legal Studies in the College of Business Administration at California State University, Long Beach. Our special guest tonight is Fox News political analyst Juan Williams. Juan, welcome to our show.
Art, good to be with you. What a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
We're delighted to have you here on our campus. You are our 5th annual distinguished speaker, and we were able to bring you over to the studio to do this special edition of our shows. And
well, let me just first say that 20 years for this show is a real hallmark, and the idea that you created it, that you've sustained it. I think that people far beyond University of California system, the State College, we all just think that you are one of the heroes of the business, Art. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Juan. Well, Juan has recently published his book, Muzzled, The Assault on Honest Debate, and it chronicles in part the well-publicized departure of Juan from National Public Radio. Juan, tell us about that whole episode.
Well, it's been a year as I'm here at Cal State Long Beach. Literally, it's a year now since I got a call from the top news executive at National Public Radio asking me what did I mean to say. And I said to her at the time, she was talking about an appearance I had on Bill O'Reilly's show on the Fox News channel. I said, I meant exactly what I said. I said what I meant. In fact, for a while, Art, I thought that should be the title of the book. I said what I meant to say. But what happened was that I had said on Bill O'Reilly's show that, when I'm in an airport to this day, now we're 10 years after 9/11, if I see people who are dressed in Muslim garb, to my mind, first and foremost, identifying themselves as Muslims, I have some anxiety, some nervousness about it. And I said, this is something that is not politically correct, but the fact is that Muslims did attack us on 9/11. Bill O'Reilly had gotten himself into some bit of a snit with the ladies on The View, and he had asked me, he said, where did I go wrong, Juan? And I said to him, look, I'm not going to play politically correct games. The fact is those people who attacked us, not only were they Muslims, they said that they were engaged in jihad. They were using their faith as a justification for this act of terror. So I said, I'm not playing games with you, and I said, I feel nervous in airports to this day. And then went on to say, but of course, I don't seek to stereotype anybody. I don't think it's a good thing. America's a land of religious liberty. I don't stereotype my fellow Christians because
and
of
most
Timothy
Muslims
McVeigh.
Are not terrorists or anything like that.
So it's very clear, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But 2 days later, here I get this call that you're talking about, Art, and the woman says, what did you mean to say? This is bigotry. This is a violation of our journalistic standards, and you're fired.
And you were hired, just for the record, by National Public Radio as a commentator.
Well, I was initially hired as their afternoon talk show host for Talk of the Nation, then as the senior correspondent, and then as their news analyst. So my job was to be a commentator, which has far greater latitude in terms of what I'm allowed to say than a straight news reporter.
Sure. So you were commenting, and they didn't like your comments. And just for the record, Juan had worked at Fox News for 15 years and had preceded his employment by National Public Radio by 5 years. So when they hired Juan at National Public Radio, they knew he was a analyst on Fox News.
Correct.
And but it was kind of an open secret that the new news head was not happy that you were also on Fox News when she came aboard.
Well, it's one of those things, Art, where for 10 years, whenever this issue came up, management said, wait a second, actually, this is good for us. This exposes NPR's talent to a new audience to NPR people.
There you go.
And they felt I was practicing journalism. I wasn't doing anything there that I wasn't doing at NPR. Different roles. It's a cable news channel on TV versus a radio operation, but nothing illegitimate.
Yeah.
And then this lady comes along and she doesn't want me even to identify myself as NPR when I'm on Fox's primetime shows. Then she wants to distance the relationship by saying, instead of being an NPR staffer, why don't you get on contract? But the minute, Art, that I got on contract, she started cutting my pay, diminishing my role on the air, and then I think she was looking for a moment where
So
she could
this-
fire me,
Yeah.
and she used this in that way.
Well, as we know, she eventually got fired for firing you.
Well, you know, they brought in a legal team to look at this because, you know, it's unbelievable. But a year ago, this was all over the front pages, all over the newscast in
Absolutely.
America, and they brought in some people to look at it. And what they came away was, you know, there's no such standard, and there was no such justification, and there was internal criticism. And then all of a sudden, she left.
And Fox News and Roger Ailes, its head, stepped up to the plate and actually gave you a nice increase after this happened.
They compensated for what I had lost by losing my job. You know what Roger Ailes, who's the head of Fox News, said at the time was, he said, I don't want you to have to go home and tell your wife you lost money because of what happened here. And that's what he did. It was very gracious of him. And I must say, the one other thing on this front, when, you know, this whole thing happened, I thought my career was over, Art. That night, but after she did that, I didn't sleep. I thought, you know, who's going to want to deal with me? I'm labeled as a bigot, a bad journalist. You know, I just thought NPR is such a loved brand. They've got microphones in every town. You know, so it felt to me so personal and a very personal attack. And then what happened over the next several days as this thing was on every front page and every news story on the TV, I realized this is much bigger than me. That there were Americans who were saying not only do they also have this feeling when they're in airports after 9/11, it's not like people are making it up or people are being, you know,
You said what you felt.
Yeah. So people are saying to me, oh yeah, I've had that feeling. But people also said to me, Art, you know what? Have we reached a point in this country where you can't say what you feel?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on?
That is powerful. Those are both powerful arguments. So the tide turned, really.
The tide
And
turned.
from and you were very abject and depressed and low, and you didn't know whether this was a career ender or whatever. And then you see this tide turning in your favor, and what was your feeling?
Well, you know, it turns slowly. I mean, for example, after the woman fires me, then subsequent to that, well, let me just say one thing here. In the course of the firing, I said to her, you know, I worked there 10 years. Have you seen the entire transcript? Did you watch the entire show? Because I'm arguing for religious liberty and tolerance. And she says, we don't need to see anything more. We don't. I said, but I worked there 10 years. Can't I come in and can't we talk about it? She said, there's nothing you can say, nothing you can do. You're fired.
She's digging herself in deep.
Well, but okay, but a few days later, the president of NPR, before TV cameras and microphones, says, whatever Juan Williams says should be between him and his psychiatrist, like I'm a crazy person. And that don't listen to him because basically some publicist is putting words in his mouth. Like I couldn't do an interview with Art Levine. I couldn't possibly engage someone of your intellect.
Well, if you'll, this is my phrase, but this to me seems to have elements of a public lynching.
Well, it's a heavy statement.
Yes.
But what it felt like to me was I was being buried.
Yeah.
And that they felt free. They put out the word. You know, I told you that this happened late on an afternoon, that the woman called me to fire me. And I didn't do anything about it. I didn't know what to do about it. I was so worried. Yeah. And then my cell phone just starts blowing up. The New York Times, the Associated Press, NPR, all of them are calling to say that NPR has put out the announcement with great pride. They're trumpeting that they've gotten rid of this bum. And I'm like, what is going on? How could I possibly defend myself against this major media corporation as an individual?
Well, it's a powerful story, but look at the result. You have a New York Times best-selling book out, and you have a lot of new friends.
Well, and you know, what's interesting to me is how much people say we need honest conversation in the country.
Amen to that.
And so if you can't even say that you feel nervous because of the history of, and it's a legitimate history, you can't, it's not disputed, a history of a tie between radical Islam and terror, if you can't say that, well then how can we have honest conversations about immigration? How can we have an honest conversation about debt in the country or budgets or how to deal with abortion, gun control, anything? In other words, you're not supposed to say what's on your mind. You're supposed to bite your tongue. And people are fed up with it, Art. I think that's why I got the support that I got.
Well, let me just expand the point because I agree with you entirely. We're facing a national election now. We're watching the Republican debates, and there'll be someone running against President Obama. And we need to have honesty in our political dialogue.
Right.
No one is talking about the real problem, the elephant in the room, the entitlements. They push that aside, right, and talk about other stuff. And I think there's a certain intellectual dishonesty on both sides in failing to address the real problems.
Well, this is so incredible to me. I'm so pleased that you brought this up. Because if you say, as a Democrat these days, listen, there's got to be some adjustment in terms of everything from Social Security to Medicare to Medicaid. Entitlements are eating up a huge percentage of the budget, and they're growing. And so we have to rein them in order to preserve the programs. All of a sudden, Art, hey, why are you bringing this up? You're giving ammunition to the other side. You're not a good Democrat. Now, let's flip it over. If you're a Republican.
And you dare say maybe we need a tax increase.
Yes, we need some added revenues because we're in terrible shape here. And you know, the rich should pay some more taxes. And you know what? If we want the Democrats to give us serious cuts in entitlement, we're going to have to do something on the revenue side. All of a sudden, no. Why are you even saying that? Yeah. You're a bad Republican. You're a rhino. You're a Republican in name only. So in other words, you have got to fit exactly in a box. You've got to obey the orthodoxy of the far right or the far left, and people in the middle who want to have an honest conversation want to say, hey, you know what, we need to do something. We're bad people. We're weak-kneed. We're spineless. We're the worst.
I have a title for your next book.
Tell me.
It's Lonely in the Middle.
How about the skunk in the middle of the road? But the thing is, you know what? There are a lot of us, Art.
Yeah.
You know, there are more people in the middle who actually want to have a discussion, who are sick of being told, shut up, you're going to be treated like you're ostracized, marginalized, you're not a good person. People are sick of that stuff.
Yeah. And particularly here in California. Okay, we'll be back, but we have to pause for these messages.
At the beach, science is a hands-on affair. New science buildings with state-of-the-art laboratories combined with outstanding faculty mentors are engaging students in cutting-edge research and providing an unmatched level of science education. More CSULB students go on to earn doctoral degrees in science and technology than from any other university of its kind in the nation. To learn more, visit us on the web. Science at the Beach, educating students through research. The College of Continuing and Professional Education at California State University, Long Beach. As leaders in continuing education, we help individuals and organizations reach their highest potential. We salute our community and professional partners, including the Los Angeles Transportation Club. Created in 1924, the club is a forum where transportation professionals, shippers, and suppliers share solutions, foster relationships, and provide support for more than 200 members and the community. The LATC offers many benefits, including regular meetings, presentations, and special events. You can learn more from the Los Angeles Transportation Club website, www.latc.la. or call 562-856-9197. The Los Angeles Transportation Club, working with California State University Long Beach and the College of Continuing and Professional Education to help you reach higher.
The Designation Program for Marine Terminal Operations Professionals at CSULB provides the knowledge and skills needed in the highly competitive and exciting maritime environment. The industry-relevant curriculum is taught by professionals and practitioners in the field. Complete the program requirements and advance your career in less than 1 year. Contact the Center for International Trade and Transportation at CSULB for more information.
We are back, continuing our conversation with Juan Williams, Fox News political analyst, author of the New York Times bestseller, Muzzle the Assault on Honest Debate. So we've been describing how the media limits debate. Money also limits debate.
Money in politics. If you stop and think about it, politicians who say the most outrageous things on either side, who enforce the orthodoxy, they're the ones who get all the political support, and of course it stirs their political contributions. You think about Congressman Wilson, who stood up and said while President Obama was talking about the healthcare legislation, "You lie." You would think that, agree or disagree with what he was saying, you would say, you know, people think this is not the way that we want our nation to look to the world, to have people standing up and screaming "you lie" at the President of the United States. It's unprecedented, never happened. That's not us. But what happens? All of a sudden his profile gets raised tremendously. His coffers are filled with money like he's never seen before. And this is what's happening. People who say outrageous things, not only in the media, as you point out, but in politics, are the ones who are rewarded by the extremes of the political spectrum. You know, Congresswoman Gabriella Giffords, the lady who got shot in Arizona, before she was shot, she said anybody who's trying to practice politics, which is defined as the art of compromise, they're getting no reward. You have to be an extremist, an angry voice in current American politics to reap any reward. So you get things like the Tea Party freshmen come in and they say, we are going to be intransigent. We're not making any deals.
Right.
And they drive the whole debt ceiling discussion to the point where the national economy is on the brink. And then people say, well, how did we get these? What's going on here?
Well, California legislature is a perfect example. We've said publicly on this show and elsewhere that it is dysfunctional. The ratings is below 20%. It's bifurcated between liberal Democrats and conservative Republicans. Nothing gets done, running huge deficits. It's not working. It's not working at the federal level, not working at the state level, and in many cities, Vallejo has gone bankrupt. So we need honest discussion and honest debate if we are to solve the problems of our political scene, or else we're going to continue to go down the tubes. We can't run these deficits forever. It's unsustainable.
That's an honest statement. In other words, to my mind, all you're saying is, you know what, if you love your country, if you love the state, we're going to have to make some deals. We're going to have to be reasonable and apply logic. And we're going to have to compromise. That's not a dirty word. It doesn't evidence that you're weak. It's just that, you know what, we have higher interest than our own political interest in getting reelected.
You intimated this earlier. You think the public is ready and even hungry for honest debate, as evidenced by the reaction to your situation.
Oh, yeah.
How come our legislators don't get it? They're still living a bit on borrowed time, I think.
I think that's right, but you know, here's the thing for them. They are, just as we said earlier, rewarded by the base of the extremes. People who are saying, you know, I'd like to have a discussion about this with you. I want to hear what you're thinking about this. Those people can't be counted on to watch shows, to read newspapers or magazines that cater to one side or another.
So these shows are preaching to the choir, basically.
Absolutely. Look at the Republican debates.
And Fox News has the top ratings of any cable news show.
Fox News is number one, and Fox News, I think, but look at my presence, I'm there, they try, they make an effort, but if you look at primetime Fox, you look at something like Sean Hannity, Sean says his number one job is defeat Obama. So he is talking to the choir. And I was going to say to you, look at the Republican debates. When you see someone say, if you're a Republican and you were offered in exchange for $1 in tax hikes, $10 in spending cuts, and you see them all say, no, 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 these are people who are just trying to give red meat to the far right base of the party that says never are we going to have any tax increases, no matter what condition the country may be in.
Well, you know, if tax reductions were so good for the economy should be booming now, because we've had nothing but a bunch of tax reductions, and what has it gotten us?
Well, that's right. I mean, it's this, but you know, this is the thing, Art. There's so much rhetoric, and of course, if you dare say that, then someone says, you know what, you're attacking conservatives, you're attacking the party. That's not so. I mean, you're just saying, hey, listen, we have to make some kind of accommodations on both sides, some kind of deal so we can move forward as a country.
President Reagan, the hero of the conservatives, talked to Gorbachev.
And Mr. Reagan raised taxes.
And that seemed to work out pretty well.
In fact, you know what? He moved the country forward. He had tremendous success, as you spoke about, talking to Gorbachev, dealing with our enemies overseas.
President Nixon, who is no favorite of the Democrats, opened the door to China by talking to the Chinese.
Well, you know what? I mean, I say these days, and here I am talking
but
to
Democrats
you.
can't talk to Republicans here in America. What's wrong with this picture?
It's maddening. Yeah. But I was going to say, here I am talking to you, and I'm reminded, look, if Walter Cronkite was on the air today, I think that people would ignore him. They'd say, that guy's bland, he's boring, he's gray. He talks too much about the facts, about what really happened. I want to know his opinion. Is that guy a Republican? Is that guy a Democrat? Is he white? Is he black? They want to put you in a box rather than hear what you have to say.
Well, maybe the fault is not the media. Maybe we have to look in the mirror, because the media gives people what they want. The ratings are a perfect barometer of what people want.
What are they watching? What are they listening to?
We had a guest years ago who said, when you mention OJ, the ratings shut up to the roof.
Oh, sure. Talk about Britney Spears or Lindsay Lohan and the ratings go up.
So maybe it's our fault for what really turns us on.
Well, and the odd part is, if you talk to someone who's a liberal, they complain bitterly about the Wall Street Journal editorial page. They complain about Fox. They complain about Limbaugh. But then you talk to somebody who is a conservative, and they complain about, guess what, the New York Times editorial page. They say that's too biased, right? They complain about NPR. They complain about Hollywood. And it's like these people are living in separate worlds rather than saying, hey, wait a second, there's lots of voices, and you have to listen and try to learn and have an honest conversation.
And it sounds like both sides would define bias as someone who doesn't agree with them.
They demonize, and they take delight in demonizing anybody who dares to stray off the farm.
So, Juan, you've had a distinguished career, top journalist for the Washington Post for many years. What's the way out? Let's try and become a little optimistic as we conclude the second segment of this wonderful show. What's your solution? How do we get out of this box?
It's not hard. It's listening. It's being willing to talk to people, and it's being willing to say, you know what, I'm going to support politicians who actually are getting something done. I'm not voting for a talk show host. I might enjoy a talk show host who says the most outrageous things, and I get to thump the dashboard and say, oh, that's great, that's great. I'm glad he's telling them off. But the people I vote for, the people I send money to, the people I expect to govern the country, I want real leadership from them. And I expect them to act as if they are adults and not to act as if they are simply engaged in a temper tantrum. So we as Americans, I think in terms of what we watch, what we read, you know what, we're making the call here. And when we give money to the extremes, when we vote for the extremes, when we let the extremes dominate the terms of the conversation, we're going to get what we have, dysfunction.
John F. Kennedy wrote a book, Profiles in Courage, and there seem to be awfully few profiles in courage on the national political scene these days. People who are willing to take a bullet to put their beliefs out there, and the highest goal should not be to get elected or reelected.
No.
The highest goal should be to do something.
Serve your country. Love America.
Serve your country.
What's wrong with loving America?
We need to get back to that.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. You can't, in every instance, I don't care what it is, as I said, the immigration issue, the budget issue, the wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, if you say something, you say, I have a different thought, people say, oh, that's not good. We don't want to hear that.
Whose work today on television are you particularly fond of or respect, or what shows do you like?
Oh, I love O'Reilly's show. I think O'Reilly's right of center, but he's making a big effort to hear and to listen. And now he can be very dominant and cranky and all that. But I like him. And I think that if you think about Jon Stewart, I like Jon Stewart stuff. I think it's funny. I don't think it's news. And let me just say, this is an important distinction because so many young people think that that's the news. That's crazy. That's not the news.
But he does do satire.
Right.
And brings out certain truths
Correct.
On that show.
Yeah.
The kids get it.
The kids get it. And I think that if, you have to take some time, but if you read the newspapers, you know what? Most newspapers, especially the front of the paper, they're trying to tell you what's going on. Yeah. But guess what? Again, you must know, Art, declining circulations. People aren't reading the newspaper.
Well, we thank you so much for coming to our campus at California State University, Long Beach, to be our distinguished speaker. We thank you so much for joining us here on this show. And most importantly, we thank you for your intellectual integrity, for your honesty, and for your willingness to reach out and listen to the other person.
Thanks, sir.
Just because someone doesn't disagrees with you doesn't mean you have to be disagreeable.
No, and I think that there's more and more, as we were saying before, of a hunger in the American mind for just having an honest conversation. Let's have conversation that serves the end, which is solving problems.
Amen to that. Juan Williams, our distinguished speaker, 2011. Thank you at home for joining us.